Cyborg as a character, he is, the heart of the movie.
Wonder Woman!
Is this true or is this urban legend? Mailing rats, mailing bullets. You were just like insane. Did it live up to the thrill?
No.
What?
It was the hardest thing I've done to date.
What was your first cheat meal?
I definitely I go for like Wendy's.
Frosties.
Like double, double, oh, dude. I can eat some junk food. I can put away a lot of junk food.
All this and more as we take you backstage with Zack Snyder and the entire cast of Justice League. Welcome, everyone. We are very excited to bring you our exclusive interview with director Zack Snyder as he prepares to release what we're calling the movie event of the year, Zack Snyder's Justice League. Along with Zack, we're going to take you backstage with the entire Justice League cast. We're talking to Ben Affleck, who plays Batman, Henry Cavill as Superman, Jason Momoa as Aquaman. We've got Wonder Woman. We've got The Flash. We've got Cyborg. We've got the arch nemesis Lex Luthor and more. Before we start, click that subscribe button below and ring the bell so you can stay up to date with all the exclusive Backstage Oil interviews from the entire DC Universe, Marvel Universe, and more. I also invite you to share your favorite DC character in the comments below. I'll be sharing my own personal favorite at the end of this video. Now let's get it kicked off with the man himself, Zack Snyder, as he tells us how to prepare for this 4-hour and 2-minute long film. This is Zack Snyder and the entire cast of the Justice League.
Listen, guys, you're going to go over to HBO Max, hopefully, and you're going to click on Justice League, and which is a 4-hour movie, so be ready. Remember, though, you are at home. The movie is divided into 6 parts. So at any time, when one of those parts comes up, you can just pause the movie, go get your snacks, take a bathroom break if need be, but be ready for like a pretty we like to call it a space opera because it's so big. And around there's a chapter of the movie called All the King's Horses. That's about a little over halfway through. That's a really good time to stretch your legs and kind of, really, if you've been in the movie for almost 2 hours and 20 minutes, maybe a little more, you might want to, just kind of walk around a little bit. But then from there on, you're on a downhill run to the end. So, but that's a quick guide to enjoying it. And I hope you do.
So begins the end. Darkseid.
I've never seen a being this strong. Maybe one. He's back.
Zack, it's great to see you. I was going back at our previous conversation. I can't believe it's been 5 years since you and I spoke. Great to see you again.
Dave, it's unbelievable. What are we doing?
It's not going to be another 5 years before next time, my friend. I'm going to tell you right now.
That's true. I think I'll see you next month, 2 months.
Absolutely. I'd love that. All right. We have a lot to get through today. I'm calling it the movie event of the year. My first question to you today, sir, is did you ever think that we would actually be here talking this film's release?
I did not. I'll be honest. It was one of those things that even when we announced it, I would come home, and by saying come home, walk from my office here to my house, which is, 100 feet away. And I would say, to Debbie, like, is this for real? Are we really doing this? And so that took a long time to wear off. And so it's an amazing thing to watch the film from beginning to end and be like, okay, this is the movie and it's done. It's unbelievable.
What is most satisfying to you now that it is going to be released?
I think the big thing is really, restoring, or finishing this Cyborg's journey, and really getting Cyborg as a character just up in front of audiences, and he is, the heart of the movie and really the kind of it's his story that's a metaphor for the whole thing, and Ray does such a great job. And I really think that it's it's long overdue, frankly, to see him do his thing.
What does it feel like to be in one of the most anticipated movies of the year? I can tell by the grins and the excitement. It's got to be just a thrill.
It's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome. I mean, this is new to me on the whole. Being a part of a film of this scope, this size. I mean, for me, these are the characters that I grew up watching as a kid. It's a dream come true.
When you put on the suit, do you have a sense of like, yeah, look at me, because I mean, every kid, I was Superman as a kid, but do you feel like, yeah, I'm Superman, you know?
You definitely, there's a power held in the suit, within the S, within the aura surrounding the character. Yes, absolutely. There's a strong sense of responsibility which comes with it.
You've said in other interviews about this film that you were hoping that when people see it, that they get a sense of hope. I like that answer too. Can you expand on that just a little bit?
What superheroes are designed for is to inspire and to be aspirational and to provide hope. And that, I think, should reflect in the movies we make when we make movies about superheroes. And that's what I hope we get from, that's what I hope audience members get from this movie. Aside from all the personal things, which they'll get from various characters and the different personalities of characters and how they may relate to individual audience members. But hope is important when it comes to these, to making these movies, that they're designed to bring light to dark days.
Tell me the pressure of playing this central character. Everybody knows Batman.
Everybody knows Batman. It's character's been around since the 1930s. You know what I mean? It's been, and generations of Americans have appreciated it and followed it, and a number of great actors have played the part. So there was a high bar, and at the time, it's like walking over wire or whatever. You try not to look down. I try not to think about all the other great versions that have been made, because I think it would have just been too intimidating. But now I can really appreciate, how great those were, and hope that to be grateful that I got the opportunity to do this.
Wonder Woman! You did the thing.
Of course,
I
always
wasn't
did.
sure if
every
I was...
morning. Good morning, Al.
Yeah.
Good morning, husband. Good morning, Alma. Yeah, that's our thing.
It's a strong female character that I think girls can look up to. Do you take on that resposibility and think about that when you're...
I'm a mother.
Oh.
4-year-old daughter who has this amazing imagination, and she loves princesses. And I see that all she admires is princesses. And then one day she came to me and we were watching a movie, and then she said, Mommy, the prince is always so strong and courageous. And then I said, what do you think about the princes? And she said, nah. I said, why do you say about that? And she still admires them. And then I said, why do you say that? And she said, well, the princess, she always falls asleep, and then the prince arrives and he saves her life, and da-da-da-da-da. She does nothing. So I'm happy, not to say thrilled, that we're bringing this character back to life. I think she's so inspiring. I think it's so important for boys and girls and boys to have her.
When we talked at Justice League, you were really excited. You were like, I can't wait to do this film. Did it live up to the thrill?
No.
What?
It was the hardest thing I've done to date. Totally worth it. Obviously, everyone's loving it. Never done something so hard in my life. It was
really
the action in this is, as you saw, is next level, and I mean it lived up to the expectation that it was going to be the hardest thing I've ever done. But it was it was
a lot of work.
Yeah, but that's in a great way. I'm just being I did not expect that. Nor did I, when you see all these sets and just how beautiful it is, and we really pushed the whole wire work and stunt and the CGI to another level.
When you're dressed and you are Aquaman and you're standing there, what's going through your head?
I mean, this going through my head. turning and seeing Aquaman, that just doesn't make sense yet.
My man, it is good to see you again.
Yeah, you too, Dave. Thanks for coming.
You're evil.
Thank you.
Is it fun to play evil?
Yeah, I would definitely say it's more fun to think that the audience doesn't have to like me. You know, if you're playing in a movie and you think like, oh yeah, like billions of people have to think what I'm doing is correct, then you're like I don't know, I think stuck a little bit. But with this, I could do like anything. I could be as absurd, as silly, as angry, even as like friendly as possible, because it's all contextualized by this horrible person.
Right. And so let's talk about your character, Lex Luthor.
Okay.
Such an iconic figure. I mean, what's the pressure to get that right? Because people know who Lex is.
I feel the same pressure to do well with this that I feel in doing a movie that no one knows about, because I just want to do well for myself. But I knew that if I did a good job with this and kind of gave it a fresh take, and that people thought it was nothing like they expected, but they still liked it, then I would be successful.
You really embraced your character. And I've read stories online, people saying that you really got, like is this true or is this urban legend? Mailing rats, mailing bullets. You were just like insane. I mean, you really embraced the Joker.
Yeah, I did embrace the Joker, and I had a lot of fun with it. And, you know, he's a fun guy. He likes to play games. He likes to give gifts. He did give some nice gifts. I did give some cupcakes. Nobody likes to talk about that. I wouldn't have eaten them, but I did give some cupcakes. But he's a very colorful character. And each day you never knew what you're going to get. It could just be like a crayon out of the box, a different shade.
Is there pressure to play an iconic role? I mean, everybody knows Lois Lane.
Yeah, I mean, initially I felt a lot of pressure, and I still, take it very seriously, and I put a lot of work and thought into it. But ultimately I have to let go of what, sort of the band, like what you hear, people's expectations, and just really commit to the role and commit to the story that Zack's telling and the world that he's creating, and do your best with that.
When you found out you were going to be part of this humongous film, what was your first reaction? I can't even imagine how cool that would be.
Oh, it was really cool. I mean, I love these kinds of films. These are films that I saw growing up, and so I was just, I've always been really excited to get to play Lois and to get to, work with Zack and Henry. And so to come back and then get to add all these different elements, it's really fun.
So you show up to work the first day, you look around at the costumes, everything that's going on, it's finally on the big screen. Are you just going, wow, this is happening? Tell me what you were seeing and feeling.
I, didn't know much about Wonder Woman at all. So I really got into the whole discovery process of what is Wonder Woman, and discovered this incredible character, Hippolyta, and I could not believe that I was getting to play this fantastic character. She's just awesome. And then they are so serious at DC Comics about really, really making us inhabit the strength of these superheroes. So we were put on this incredible training program. And there was this moment after 2 months of training like that, when I'm taking my carry-on and, on one of my mini pendles back and forth between San Francisco and London, and it just grabbed it and I just threw it up over there, and I went like, oh my God, I am a beast right now.
So the training really got it.
Absolutely.
Weren't you on like a special diet too, I read?
I had to eat almost every 2 hours, like protein and, vegetables with proteins, all kinds of protein all the time. And yes, I had to double the amount of calories that I was on, and I wasn't allowed to do my 1 hour runs anymore because I had to maintain like all this new muscle mass.
Training was intense, even longer than last time. I trained with Mark Twight, who trained me on Man of Steel, for 4 months. And then after that, I was handed over to Michael Blevins, and during pre-production for 6 months, I trained with him. And so, yeah, I almost tripled the training time overall to achieve what I achieved on this job. And it was fun, rewarding, hard work, but rewarding.
What was the workout routine? Because everybody's giving you props. Everybody's talking about how great you look. You look fantastic.
The workout was a lot of work. I had a great trainer, a guy named Walter Norton, and he, it was about showing up every day. Really, that's the thing. And sometimes I had to do it like, early in the mornings or whatever, before, because I was working on another movie. So I'd be shooting that movie and then have to work out and get ready in the mornings. It was just about like getting out of bed in the morning, being willing to do it even when you hate it, and I would have totally given up if I didn't know that, I had to be on camera, so I couldn't cheat. I had to get up there and do it. Otherwise, it would be, you got to be, audiences expect you to look like a superhero now.
What was your first cheat meal when you could?
I mean, I definitely I go for like Wendy's. I go Wendy's is
Frosties.
like double. Oh, dude, Wendy's with some fries. I can get down with. You know what I mean? I like a lot of pizza. I can eat some junk food. I can put away a lot of junk food. So what happens is I get like in shape and I go like, you know, it's feast or famine, and then I go off and then I just go crazy and then I have to like pull it all back in and get back together.
How different was this than Justice League for you?
It was a very different experience. You know, with Justice League, I worked and trained for a long time, but I was in it for a very short amount of time. I didn't spend all that time on set like I did on this one. This was an everyday, you know, for 7.5 months. I trained for about 6, so this is a real commitment.
You two, your characters, and I would tell the rest of the cast this, I just love the energy that you both give.
Thank
Is
you.
it fun to
It was
be?
so much fun. It was so much fun, and I'm so happy that we had this, you know, amazing addition to the movie with Ezra and with Jason and with Ray, and it's been a lot of fun. Ezra is like, I don't know why, I feel like is my younger brother, the younger brother I never had.
We could pull it off.
I think
Just
we look
planning for
together and we
projects.
look alike.
You know, you really, you
Yeah.
brother and sister, you guys should
Smile.
just go. I
Don't
like
you
that.
think?
Yeah, you can do it. Just
So
go on public and
it
say, this is my
felt like
brother, my
home.
sister.
This is the
What?
pitch.
Yeah, that's the pitch.
You heard it here first.
The movie. Tell me about the Flash costume, because that's just got to be fun to wear.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's an incredible work of art. I'm so grateful for the work that the costume people put in. They put in a lot of work. I went to more costume fittings on this one movie than all the rest of the movies collectively. It was a ton of work, and to keep it and to maintain it, it's like 170 something in pieces, and all these little wires, and yeah, it was so much fun. I loved it, and I loved the idea of the suit that Barry Allen in this early novice phase doesn't have the Speed Force aura and totally gets hurt, and so he's like, I want like elbow pads, you know what I mean?
Costume likes and dislikes.
Well, my costume I love.
Okay.
And a lot went into talking about it and finding the look. But I like the look very much. It's got a slight Japanese master feeling to it, a little samurai thing going, and then you got the underwater thing. And then, of course, it's New York black, too.
Well, Jason was talking about he had difficulty going to the restroom.
That, I'm used to that. I mean, I'm used to that when I'm wearing clothes that I remember that from Spider-Man. You had or Shadow of a Vampire, when I had these long fingernails and this long buttoned robe, and I needed help.
So
I needed a friend.
Hey, a bathroom buddy is what we call it.
Look, it's heavy.
Okay.
Okay. I can't really use the restroom whenever I want to, because then it's a whole half an hour thing to put it back on. And but I love it. It's amazing. It's practical. I can move a lot in it. The first time I tried it, it was super tight. It was like I could not breathe in that. And right before I passed out, they noticed that. I didn't say anything because they just cast me, and 2 days later, they made me try on the costume, and then it was too tight. I didn't want to say anything because I was like, no, I'm not going to say anything. I'm so thankful for them to give me this opportunity. Never mind. They adjusted it, and I love it. I love everything about her. I have no complaints because I'm so thankful, and I love it.
Do you get to borrow it for Halloween? I would. Well, not me as
I
Wonder
want
Woman,
to, but Ben
yeah.
said I thought we're gonna get to keep it, but and Ben thought the same thing, but then he said that they would not let us keep it because it's too expensive.
Haters.
Right?
What about the costume? What do we need to know about the costume? Because you look great, man. But I know, like Wonder Woman, she couldn't breathe and she couldn't go to the restroom. Is there something about the Superman costume that we should know?
Well, I worked very hard at speaking with Michael Wilkerson before we started developing the new version of the suit, and this one has a zipper.
Okay.
Yeah, so I can go to the bathroom whenever I so choose.
Costume likes and dislikes. Tell me what you like about the costume.
I think it's a perfect representation of what that comic book is, and I think the suit's pretty beautiful. It's on point.
The Trident, how heavy is that?
It's pretty light.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're a little bit too light sometimes because I broke a lot. The Justice League ones are stronger.
Okay, your costume dislikes.
It's just hot. It's just hot. That's all. I burn pretty warm. So I mean, it's just hot. That's all.
You know, when you do a role like this, it's fun to dress up.
It was incredible. I mean, Lindy just really went out there. And I could not believe when I was being fitted for these things. And I just said, take as many fittings as you want just to get this right. Because it was also about making this incredible, beautiful costume come alive when you were doing the actual action sequences and all of the stunts that I insisted on wanting to do myself, you know. So being able to move and being able to really bend in the knees and get really low while having oodles of fabric around you and double corsets, you know, that was, you know, making sure that was going to work.
I'm all CG in this one, man.
Really?
I'm all CG except for the light that emanates from that's emitted from the eye and the chest. That was the only practical part of my costume. When you see me in the hoodie and sweatpants, I have a muscle suit under there, and it's, you know, that's practical. But other than that, no. I mean, my hat's off to these guys though, because their costumes were pretty intense.
What is the pressure to play an iconic character like this? Because there've been different versions of the Joker in the years past.
Yeah.
You know, what was that kind of pressure to play?
It was intimidating. There was a lot of pressure. There have been such phenomenal performances, and it was inspiring as well. You know, Jack Nicholson, incredible. Cesar Romero, unforgettable. Mark Hamill, insane voice work. And Heath Ledger, one of the not just greatest villains, but I think one of the best performances in the history of film. So it was really, like I said, an honor to be asked this. And I did feel the pressure and responsibility. And I learned a lot from their performances. But really, I think what I took, rather than taking anything from the performances, what I took was that sense of fearlessness that they all share. They all dove in so deep. They were also bold and brave, and that really inspired me.
How did you keep secrets? I know people are asking me, how did you keep secrets about it?
We've been just really diligent. I think we've been really, you know, we really wanted to, and our security was really locked down. I learned it from Chris Nolan, really, because he's, you know, when we started working on Superman, I'd never really done a movie that was a secret. You know, it was mostly the movies we had done in the past were either based on a comic book that everyone had seen, or, you know, like Dawn of the Dead, like everyone's seen the movies. It wasn't like a secret. But when we worked on Man of Steel, we went into lockdown mode, and I realized like how hardcore that is, and so we just carried that onto this movie.
But family, friends, nobody. I know that some directors I've talked to, like Avengers director, he's like, "Oh, I tested some of the storylines on my kids."
Oh yeah.
I mean, did you?
Oh yeah, you have to. You have to like stay with your small group. You know, my wife is my producer, so, you know, it's a very much a family affair. You know, when we make them, even on a giant movie like this.
How did you keep secrets? Because, I mean, people are asking me. I'm not in the movie. You're in the movie. How do you keep secrets?
People do now. Everyone, there's like this culture that knows about like leaks and stuff and spoilers, but also people kind of expect you to be keeping secrets. Like no one really thinks that you're going to give away the plot of your movie, so they don't push you too hard. You know what I mean? They're like, all right, we'll figure it. You know what I mean? So people are actually pretty understanding of that, because we're now in this culture of like spoilers and stuff on the internet, and a lot of people want to be surprised. They don't want to know the ending or whatever.
You and I met in London. Well, we met a couple of times, but we took a picture together, which I could finally post.
Good.
Because you had that look,
right?
And you were like, "Please don't post that."
Yeah.
So I'm gonna post it next week.
Yeah. I spent a year wearing hats.
Yeah, well, let's talk about that. I heard you were like hiding, and you had hoodies over, and
yes, to go from like the trailer where you get, because I was wearing a wig in the movie of long red hair, to go to the set, to walk 5 feet, I had to put on like the kind of an antebellum farm woman's handkerchief.
How did you keep secrets? Because I'm not even in the movie, and people are asking me about it. I just saw it. It's fantastic.
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
But how did you keep secrets?
I am not surrounded by like fans of this stuff. Like my girlfriend and my friends, like they're not like comic book aficionados, so no one was like prying it out of me. So I didn't feel this like need to keep secrets. So I kind of felt. And I didn't grow up reading the comic book, so I was not like really shocked by anything I read in the script, because it was all new to me. And then, of course, after I started doing the movie, I read all the comic books. But to me, it was easier to keep a secret than knowing about, like, oh, my friend cheated on his wife, something like that. Than that you want to tell everybody, of course.
Are you comic fans? I'm gonna guess you are probably a huge comic. Were you growing up? Were you really, really?
The comic culture in Israel is not that big. So I'm giving you an honest. I can say yes.
No,
but I'm
no,
giving
you better not.
honest-
I'll put the lasso on. I've got my lasso
I'm
right
sitting
here.
on the lasso. No, but I'm giving you a very, honest answer. No, but I'm very happy that this world was discovered to me later in life.
I know you're busting at the seams. Who are your favorite characters is comics growing up?
Batman. I was a huge Batman fanatic. I was really into Justice League. I mean, I read JLA, which is like still probably my favorite. And I watched a lot of the like Tim Burton Batman movies, stuff like that was really formative for me. And yeah, I was also like really into Green Lantern as a kid. Loved Superman. Yeah, I really yeah. I mean,
you got to do it.
Really read a lot of JLA. I don't know how much Wonder Woman I was reading as a kid.
That's okay. That's
fair. There was some sort of like.
That's fair.
There was some sort of like,
now.
yeah. Who knows?
But now Wonder Woman's your sister, so it doesn't matter.
Right.
Right? So there you go.
That's we want to clarify for fans that is not a reveal in this film.
I hear that you're a comic fan. Is that true?
Little bit.
Give me some favorites.
Well, I guess my favorite comic books of all time. Thankfully, I've sort of worked on a version of. Watchmen is my favorite comic book of all time, and but The Dark Knight Returns, the Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns, is certainly among the greatest comic books ever written. And we try to homage it a little bit in this movie. It's not the same thing, but a lot of my feelings about Batman come from Frank. And so I wanted to say to Frank, like, hey, thank you for the amazing work that you've done. So try to put a couple shots in that evoke that.
I'm not really into comics hardcore as well.
Yeah.
So I kind of wanted this new. I mean, I know Lex Luthor, I know Superman, I know Batman. So I think that was kind of refreshing for me. I was going to ask if you're a comics fan.
Yeah, and actually, yes, I'm like you. And I also think like what I really liked about the script had nothing to do with the superheroes. What I liked about the script and this story was that it was actually talking about these really interesting themes. Like my character looks at Superman and says, a guy like this should not be able to exist. He has too much power. And I think, it's like how we talk about like nuclear weapons now. Like, should we have a nuclear arsenal? They're really dangerous. Even if we have them as a deterrent, they could still be used and destroy cities. So like there's all these themes in the movie that I think are relevant to modern life, even though they're discussed through superheroes.
How do you explain the longevity of these characters? These characters are so iconic.
I think that they mirror our wishes and fears, and to fly. I mean, who hasn't had that dream?
Right.
I had that dream before I saw anybody doing it on TV. Some part of my brain wants to fly. So, I don't know. I just, and then all the gadgets that Batman has, I think it's inevitable that somebody wants to do Batman without all the natural born gifts that he has, because he's an alien and not human. I can't blame them. It's very tantalizing. I'm glad we got a chick doing it now.
I just think people are fascinated with sort of this idea of the superhero. I think that they're kind of inspirational, they're aspirational. Like, it's fun to sort of put yourself in that world and that role. Like, how cool must Henry feel? Like, I'm always like that. Do you feel so cool playing this? Like, nothing can hurt you. Like, you're impenetrable. Like, just, it's amazing.
What is it like? What is the most rewarding part about playing this role for you?
The most rewarding part, and I mean this honestly, is the opportunity to give people a good feeling. There's a lot of people who are enormous fans of Superman, and because of the fact that I play the character Superman, they associate me with the character. And so when people are going through really hard times, I can send a message, whether it's across social media or personally, whatever it may be, and it can bring a little bit of brightness to someone's dark day, and that's enormously rewarding.
Thank you everyone for watching this Backstage edition with Zack Snyder's Justice League. I hope you have everything you need to know to go on this film. And it's a long one, at 4 hours and 2 minutes long. But trust me, it was well worth the wait. I mean, because there's a ton of new effects that have been added to this. Zack went in with Warner Brothers and HBO Max. They added $90 million worth of new effects, new music. They've added new scenes that they filmed back in October of 2020 last year. And so it is definitely worth checking out. Now, for my favorite character of all time, it's never changed since I was a kid. It's always been Batman. I mean, of course. Batman. And the reason is because I have always been a fan of the billionaire playboy with unlimited gadgets going head to head with these supernatural characters. Plus, he's got the best vehicle in the entire DC universe, the Batmobile. I mean, come on, that thing is sick. Now, if you want to check out an extended version of our conversation with Zack Snyder and the cast of Justice League, head over to the Backstage Experience podcast, where Dave Morales and myself, John Stenvall, break down the movie with Zack and the entire cast. The Backstage Experience podcast is available on Apple iTunes, Spotify, and everywhere podcasts are streamed. Again, if you haven't already, click the subscribe button below, hit that notification bell so you can stay up to date with everything coming out of the DC Universe, Marvel Universe, and more. Thank you for watching this special Backstage edition with Zack Snyder and the cast of the Justice League. Have a great day.